paper 1, that is internal. The question reads, it is given that A values as B and inversely as the square of C, and A is equal to 9 when B is equal to 12 and C is equal to 2. Find the value of K, in this case which is the constant of variation. Here they don't give a formula, but in the question they give an information which is worth to formulate a formula. Of course, it is very important to understand the meaning of this varies and the symbol for varies. So in this case, let us formulate the formula which is hidden in this information given as the statement. So we are given A varies as B and inversely as the square of C. So this C should be the inverse of C. Now, when you're talking about C, it is just in a positive, it is more like a whole number. Now, since it is a whole number, now we are told to find the inverse of this C. How do we find it? The inverse of this one, we need to understand the concept to say all whole numbers are fractions with the denominator of 1. A good example is this. 10 out of 1, it is same as 10. Now, if you are told to find the inverse of 10, which means that we just have to reciprocate this 10 which we have as the whole number, which has a fraction of 1. So how do we do it? We'll say, since this 10 as a whole number, it has a denominator of 1, henceforth we'll say 1 out of 10. Hence, this is an inverse of this one. We have just reciprocated. The denominator has become the numerator and the numerator has become the denominator. So in this case, even this one, we just have to reciprocate since it has a denominator of 1. Mind you, we are told to say C, it is square. So in this case, it is very important that we put a 2 there to represent a square. Henceforth, how do we reciprocate this one? Hence, it can be written as 1 out of C squared. So it is now this one which we just have to shift from where it is and then we multiply to B, which can be written as 1 out of C squared. Finally, we multiply K, which is the constant of variation, and we can now deduce the formula to say A is equal to B times 1 times K. We are going to have B K out of C squared. Of course, you can start with K, then you end with B. There is no problem because multiplication is commutative, which means you can start with A as long as you're just dealing with the same letters, which is B and K, still you have the same solution. Now, since we have this information, we just have now to find the constant of variation, in this case which is K. How do we find it? Of course, we have been given the values of A, we have been given the value of B, we have been given the value of C. These values which we have, hence we just have to substitute with respect to the position where the variables are. Henceforth, we can say what is the value of A? it is 9. Sorry, it is 9. What is the value of B? It is 12 right here. What is the value of C? It is 2 power 2. It has an exponent of 2. Henceforth, we can say 9 is equal to 12k out of 4. After adding this, you can say 4 can go into 12. How many times? That's only 3 times. So we have 9 is equal to 3k. We are told to find the value of k. We divide by 2. We divide not by 2, by 3 throughout, so that we remain with the k. Hence, the value of the constant of variation, which is k, it is simply 3 as the solution, as you have found. Okay, now since we have already found the value of k, in this case which is the constant of variation, the next question is to find the value of A when B is equal to 16 and C is equal to 4. So we have the formula on the table, so there is no need of start wasting much of the time to start now thinking what should I do in this case. We just have to get this formula, and where there is B, we replace with the 16, and then where there is C, we replace with the 4. And then where there is K, we put the value of K, which is 3 in this case, as the value of the constant of variation. So let us do the substitution quickly. So we say A is equal to B, it is 16, K, that is 3, out of 4, which is power 2. So in this case, we can say we are going to just leave the way they are, and then we can say 16 times 3 out of 16, because 4 power 2, it is 16. We just have to simply say 4 times 4, which is 16. So in this case, this one and this one will go, and you're going to remain with the value of A in this case, which is 3, and solved. After that, we can come to the last question, which is find the values of C when B is equal to 25 and A is equal to 3. Please, this A, which they have just used here with the value of 2, it is not this one. That's not what it is implying. So they have just given the information just like that. So let us just respect the information which we have. So therefore, we have still the formula. So where there is A, we are going to substitute with the value given there, which is 3. We say 3 equals, what is the value of K of B? Oh, it is 25. So it is 25. What is the value of K? It is 3. What is the value of C? We don't know. We don't know. Henceforth, we can say this, by the way we balance, then we say this times this, we are going to have 3c squared is equal to this times this, we say 25 times 3. Mind you, this is paper 1, so it is not, okay, it is fine. You just leave it like the way it is, so that this one can just go and cancel that one. Instead of you multiply and you have a bigger number, then you start thinking, what should I do? So the best way, you leave it like that. So in this case, you just have to divide 3 throughout, and here we are going to remain with c squared, Hence, these 3 and these 3 will go, and we are going to remain with 25. Hence, we are told to find the value of C. In short, we make C the subject of the formula. How do we do it? Hence, we just have to introduce a square root, and here we introduce a square root. Hence, this one goes, and you're going to have, okay, let me do this. I say 25, I introduce the square root. Of course, square root always has 2 possible values, which is negative or positive. So I just rubbed to create a space for positive or negative. So in this case, here we're going to remain with C. And what is the square root of 25? It is simply 5, which is a negative or positive 5. Henceforth, you can say, therefore, C is equal to 5. We have just used a positive. It's not necessary to indicate here. So in this case, we can conclude to say, or C is equal to negative 5. As you can see, we have the 2 solutions, the positive one and the negative one. Hence, we have found the values of C. Thank you.